Welcome back to X-Pac 12360, everyone. I missed you guys, and it's good to be back. It is December 6th, 2020, and I can't remember when the last show was, but I think it was sometime in February. Jimbo, even though you weren't on the on the show at the time, do you remember when we shut the show down?
I do not, sir. I was gone by then. I could ask Denise or Ty, but I don't have the official end date of the last X-Pac 12360.
Okay, so everyone, you guys already know Jimbo in the booth, and so I want to introduce to you our newest member of the team, and she's invaluable to getting shit done around here, Emily Mae.
Hi, I'm a little pirate today, but usually I do not have an eye patch. But I'm happy to be here. It's super exciting, an honor to be here.
Hey, well, I'm really happy to have you, Emily, because I need people like you would not believe. All right. Hey, so I decided to do this show tonight because WarGames Takeover just happened, and what better time to start? Hey, so okay, you guys, what do you want to talk about first?
Sting's debut on AEW.
Oh, yeah.
WWE Hall of Famer. There was a lot of speculation that he was unhappy with his contract, and then we were wondering what he was going to do and where he was going to go, and then we see him pop up on AEW. So how do you feel about that?
I was watching. Hey, were you guys watching it?
I watched it after. I wasn't watching it live. I watched
but you saw it, right?
Later on. I did.
It came up, like, even though, like, we're in the situation we're in right now where there's really not, big crowds. Although it was kind of cool. They did have a bit of a crowd there. And you could see the reaction that's on some of their faces when Stinger came out. It was a big deal. It came off like a big deal. And it felt like a big deal to me. It made me happy. Like, he's a great guy. Like Jimbo. Didn't he kind of live in your town for a little while?
Yeah, he lived a few exits away from my house. He was a frequent visitor to the Starbucks I used to work at. I got to make his coffee several times. And
he's just the nicest, classiest guy. And the thing is he was never going to get the treatment in WWE that his fans thought he deserved. And he did deserve it. It's just he's not a WWE icon. I think they were really happy to have him. It's just they weren't going to use him like he needed to be used. And the people needed him to be used. So, to see him go back there, and it's not like he's going to, go back there and like take somebody's spot. And, I hope he's not going to go out and like beat the younger guys or whatever. Hopefully we'll see him in the ring a little bit. He can still do some stuff. And it was a big deal. Okay, let's put it this way. The next day, my wife's like, "Do you know Sting?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Like, it's a big deal. It's all over everything I'm reading. Like, Sting, big deal that he showed up." That's my wife, like, hearing it from people, and she's not like a huge wrestling fan. I mean, she digs it now because, we're married, but she's in a different world. Anyways, so yeah, this was a big deal. And anyone that doesn't think so is kidding themselves.
Do you see him more as like a mentor role in like when Ric Flair was part of Evolution? He was more of like the mentor role and less in the ring. You think he'll do more of that in AEW?
I don't know, but like in my mind, I'm picturing more like a role like Undertaker has in WWE. More of that type of role. He's going to be I think he's going to be their icon.
Who would you like to see him involved with? I know they teased like with him going nose to nose with Arn Anderson and their past history, and then Cody Rhodes and the history between Dusty and Sting, and then he ended with Darby Allin, nose to nose with Darby Allin. I could definitely see Darby Allin being a protege of Sting and kind of following in that mysterious footsteps character, more of a character driven type of wrestler.
I don't know about about the protege thing, but I definitely feel like there's some real opportunities for some cool interaction between them. They're both, they're different types of characters, but they're both kind of enigmatic in their own way, So I could see that. I could even see maybe a tag team. I don't know. Not getting the belts type of tag team, but have a tag match and their partners, or something along those lines. And maybe there could be some interaction with some other legends. So we'll see what happens. I just think there's been some criticism. They're always talking about WWE having a bunch of old guys, but like AEW is hiring Sting. This is different. This isn't just hiring an old guy. This is freaking Sting. So I want to hear it.
His name still shines on the marquee and has the star power.
Exactly.
To bring in the crowd.
So that's all that needs to be said about that. On to the next subject.
I was listening to Tom Green on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about this rescue dog that he just rescued from, I believe it was another country, and then he mentioned like Steve-O's dog that he rescued from another country, and they were like, "Oh, aren't rescue dogs the greatest?" And like, you saved their lives. And all I could think about was Lou and how, like, day and night traumatic, like such a change from living on the streets and trying to survive, eating garbage juice, blind in one eye, broken jaw, and like that was when you found her, and not only all the stuff that she's gone through while you've had her.
Hey, so, and now that she's lived the good life, or what's it been, like almost 4 years now? It's been a while, right?
Yeah,
like
it's been a while. It's crazy to think that you've had her that long.
You would think that it was just yesterday that I got her off the street, because she still, I guess for some reason, she can't not. She does that thing like an anteater, picking up stuff with her tongue off the ground to eat. I think it's just embedded in her, like survival skill wise. Like even like, I think she doesn't think she's going to get her next meal. Like, even though every day, like like not so much in the morning, but at 7 at night, right around 7 o'clock, like clockwork, she's bugging me. Like if I don't know it's 7, I realize it's 7 because she's fucking with me. Anyways, yeah. All right.
Oh, pets.
All right.
So
I did a cameo the other day, and they were talking about like the person's rescue dog. So then I had to pick Lou up and, hold her up and go, "This is my rescue dog." Maybe you've seen her on the Raw 25 documentary on the WWE Network. If not, check it out. Anyways, that was part of my cameo spiel.
Or you could have seen her at NXT WarGames in 2018, I believe, or
with the famous GIF that like there's a GIF. Yeah, there's a GIF.
There is one, yeah.
Flipping around. Yeah.
So from NXT WarGames in 2018 with Sean and Lou, we go to NXT WarGames 2020, opening up with the ladies in this 4-on-4 WarGames match. Team Candice LeRae against Team Shotzi Blackheart. I love Shotzi's entrance with the tank. She's definitely upgraded her tank since she was on the indie. Very theatrical. I enjoyed all of this. The match was very hard-hitting for the ladies. They left it all out there. Yeah. Tons of weaponry under the ring to bring in and add to the war. I don't know how I felt about that, really. I didn't think every person needed to come out, stop, go under the ring, and pull something out to throw in the ring. I think WarGames itself, or it like usually was the weapon, like being trapped in the cage and using the cage to your advantage to beat your opponent seemed to be the thing that I don't really know if it needs the kendo sticks and the toolbox with the sledgehammer or like the mallet or any of that stuff. But
that's what I did. Who picked up the mallet? Was it Rhea?
Rhea Ripley, yeah.
And she hit. I didn't like that. I thought the mallet looked like bullshit. Like I wish they wouldn't have used the mallet thing. It just because why wouldn't you just hit her in the fucking head with it? You know? And so I wasn't a fan of that, but I was a fan of the match itself. I thought it had some really good moments in it. I'm not going to lie to you and said I was completely engaged in the match because, I don't know if I was mentioned earlier, Lula was driving me crazy, and I had to bring her upstairs. So I missed a little bit of it. But that being said, Jimbo, you were talking about Shotzi's presentation, and did you see the little video package? And she had the welding torch out, and she was welding and shit.
Yeah, she's rebuilding.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah,
is that because somebody fucked her tank up?
Yeah, so Candice LeRae a few weeks back totally destroyed her tank, and that was like a huge blow to her ego, and they were building this story. So this was her re-debut of her bigger and better tank, which I really loved it. I think it really added to the theatrics of her entrance because she already had a theatrical entrance. Yeah. So, and then I loved that little photo opportunity they had with the team with the tank, and I think it showcased her as a leader, which they needed for this WarGames match.
Yeah. I think, for me personally, I think Io Shirai is the standout. I don't know if it's because of the crazy shit she did with the garbage can on top of her head or whatever, but to me, every time she goes out there, she's the best person in the ring, or no one's better. That's how great I think she is.
Were you surprised by that trash can spot?
It was weird. It was crazy. I don't know how surprised I was because not much surprises me anymore, but it was definitely a moment. Everyone's talking about moments these days. Well, it was a moment. So
yeah, it was
and so what I wanted to talk about was Raquel Gonzalez, because see, the first time I saw her, she wasn't on TV yet. She was just on what they call the coconut shows, which is the Florida house show run for NXT. Yeah. And they kind of put this gimmick on her. She was a female Stan Hansen. She came out with the lariat, with a lasso. And I think she wore a cowboy hat, and she had cowboy boots and short, jean short shorts or something like that. And I guess it was just fine. But I didn't know what happened to her. And the next time one of the next time I was down there in Florida, your lordship, William Regal, and I were having sushi, and Braun Strowman comes into the sushi joint, and he's got this woman with him, and she's a big old girl, and she's pretty buff, and it was Raquel Gonzalez, and I didn't even recognize her. She had done a complete makeover, changed the way she looked, changed the way she dressed. So she has come a long way. She's definitely star material. Let's be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, they proved that with the ending of that match.
What was that?
I think so.
I think they proved that she's star material with the ending of that match, and her doing the one-arm power bomb off the top through the ladder on Iho, who was the other standout of that match. And even when Raquel cleared house, which isn't typical for a heel in this type of match to come in and just beat the shit out of everybody in the ring standing tall. Usually that's the hot tag.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the other moment was when Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez kind of confronted each other. I feel like there was a lot of destruction happening, and Raquel Gonzalez was part of that force. And so I think they've been working for a while trying to build up her new look and her new strategy and trying to take people out. And I think this was a really good match for her.
Yeah, it was. And I think everyone came out looking just fine. Even the losers. Hell, I always said that, the losers. All right. So second match, you guys?
The second match was Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa. They kind of slowed it down, and this was more of like a hold-to-hold brawl after such a crazy War Games match.
Yeah. And I think that's by design. Like they had to put it somewhere, and you don't want to open the show with that. So like it was fine there. Those guys worked really hard. It was a tough spot to be in. I think they got the job done. I think what they needed to get done got done. I'm not sure if the lack of crowd hurt or helped this particular match. And I'm not sure, I'm not going to lie to everyone and say I've been completely 100% invested in all the storylines in NXT lately, because I'm not. So I wasn't, I hadn't followed the build up to that match.
Something they've referenced a lot in this match was Tommaso Ciampa's neck surgery.
Yes.
And his injured neck. Something you definitely can relate to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you want to give your insight. Didn't he call you after his surgery to get?
No, I hit him up, and he was like, "Oh, thank you," because he heard from me and Edge and a couple other guys that have had the surgery, And when you hear that we were just fine afterwards, my best years of my career were after my neck surgery. Some people argue and say, "Yeah, but you had better matches before." But listen, my best years and the years that I made the most money and the stuff that people remember the most were after my neck surgery. So.
And then and Thatcher totally was injured tonight. He was bleeding out of it looked like the ear or something.
Yeah.
And so that's
I wasn't sure what the deal was with that. I didn't when you see blood, you never you never know the nature of it. And so I just kept an eye on it, and they didn't reference it that much, did they?
No.
I think on commentary once, maybe, right?
I think he.
Well, because sorry, guys, we're having this is the problem. Well, not the problem. It's just a thing we got to live with when we're doing shows this way, is we step on each other sometimes. So where were we?
I was going to say commentary mentioned it once when Ciampa really cinched in this the bully choke when he was on the ground, as you could see him bleeding all over his side.
Yeah.
I believe it was his lower earlobe, and it was because of a pump knee that Ciampa hit him with. But I think they avoid it because something I've noticed with other wrestling shows during COVID is blood and spit and any kind of bodily fluids exchanging is something they want as far away from as possible.
Well, COVID or not, when somebody starts bleeding in a match, usually they shut the match down immediately. But I can understand why they wouldn't with this, because it didn't seem it almost seemed like a, just a really minor cut, and it just bled a little bit for a minute or so and then clotted up. It added to it. It added to the match. And those guys busted their ass. And Timothy Thatcher, you just look at that guy and you go, "Oh, I don't want to fuck with that guy." Because he's legit. He's a legit Billy Robinson catch wrestling student, one of the few.
Yeah, I definitely wrote in my notes, both these guys look so legit and would be terrifying to stand across a ring, an alley. If they're in your way and they mean you harm, I would be so frightened. Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher.
Thatcher has kind of a sadistic side, so I definitely would try to steer clear of him.
Yeah. All right, next.
The next match after this was Loomis and Grimes in a strap match. Dexter Loomis and Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, so there have been strap matches in pro wrestling for decades. And just to be honest with you, back in the day, like strap matches were kind of boring to me because all they did was pull on each other and, whip each other with the straps. But there was a time when like a lot of guys didn't want to get whipped hard with it. And like when you do a strap match, you got to be willing to get the shit whipped out of you, like welts and marks, like for it to be good. And those guys, they laid it in on each other a bit, and also like the thing is, and I said this in a tweet afterwards, that was a hell of a strap match. I don't know if I've ever seen a better one. And, oh my God, did I ever get like bombarded with, oh, you're crazy. This strap match was better. And, Sting and Vader. And it's just like, yeah, well, I didn't see that. I didn't see, like, I'm sure there are better, but like, I don't need you to list them for me, So, but the thing I liked about it was just how innovative they were, and like all the cool things they were able to incorporate, into the strap match. So, and that was cool, they had a little bit of a jump start there with Grimes getting on him, and then Loomis makes a bit of a comeback, and then they finally get the match started. And when Loomis was early on, like when I was, like last year, whatever, when I was going down to NXT all the time, he was still in the early processes of figuring that gimmick out, and he's really come a long way with it, because that's a tough gimmick to stay true to, because he had to figure out his own way of firing up and without breaking the nature of his character. So anyways, I was happy for both those guys, because honestly, man, I wasn't expecting a whole lot just because of the stipulation, not because of the two in the match, but because of the stipulation.
Yeah, I think they definitely took the typical strap match formula and moved it around, because usually you would see the babyface has the strap on and the heel won't put it on. He won't put it on. He jumps the babyface, and it takes the first 5 minutes to even get the strap on the heel. Whereas Grimes came out as the heel with the strap already on, but jumps the babyface and then puts it on. They did tons of unorthodox ways of using the strap, from pulling him off the ring apron to the floor to through the ropes, and the finish.
The finish was unique.
Tying his legs and sweeping him so his head hit the chair. And that was another thing I liked about the strap match, was you didn't have to do the typical tag all four corners to win. It was an actual pin or submission. The strap was just to make sure he couldn't run away, and it added that, I'm going to kick the shit out of you because you deserve it feel.
I wasn't...
Go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't sure if that finish with hitting the chair was planned or not. It felt very organic, that it just happened in the moment. But I did like how they used the strap as a tug of war, like you said, in different scenarios. I think it was different than what we've seen in the past.
I'm sure. I'm grateful that they didn't do that four corners thing, because Jimbo, the strap matches from my childhood was that four corner thing, and that was just a way to keep somebody from actually getting pinned. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that they didn't do it that way, because those are I just don't like them.
They always end the same way.
Yeah.
They always end with one guy tying the other guy up, and as he's hitting it, the guy's hitting him behind him. They do a tug of war at the end, and he accidentally pulls him in, and he tags the last one. That's how they always end. So I was really excited to see the formula of this one changed around and used to their benefit. And I was entertained the entire time. Cameron Grimes, formerly Trevor Lee, is doing great there. Dexter Loomis, like you said, his character, and seeing him now, if you go back and watch him on the first gut check he was on, when he was Samuel Shaw in board shorts, compared to how he is now, and the presence he has and the look, he's in great shape. That mustache really adds to the creepiness with the comb over and the gloves. He's excellent. And he's a terrific artist. little sketch he had of.
I love his sketches.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this.
I knew him from, and I didn't know him personally, but I was familiar with him because he was in that North American title tournament, the NWA North American title tournament, and he had a match with Willie Mack. Did you remember it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I remember seeing him, and I was impressed with him. And I thought his presentation at that time was fine. I honestly didn't think he needed a outlandish persona, but I'm a fan of this too. Don't get me wrong.
Moving on to the next match, the North American Championship match, actually.
Yeah.
Funny you should say that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you guys. Hey, after we talk about this a little bit, I got a surprise for you.
I love surprises.
Yeah.
I know, I do too.
Leon Ruff, Johnny Gargano, and Damian Priest.
Yeah. And
it was crazy to see the three of them go at it. It was definitely a whole back and forth at the beginning. Damian Priest laying everyone out.
Hey, how about when he put Leon Ruff into the barricade and knocked the whole barricade over? That was a great way to get him out of the picture for a little while, so Priest and Gargano could do their thing.
Did you like that strategy of Damian kind of treating Leon Ruff and just throwing him to the side as part of the strategy? Do you think that worked for his advantage?
I didn't look at it that way. I just looked at it that he threw him into the, he didn't mean to hurt him that bad. It was the way it came off to me, and they just carted him off. So I didn't look. It didn't come off to me that way at all. But anyways, hey everyone, on the phone right now, calling in. It looks like he's in his car from Orlando, Florida. He was the North American champion. But now Gargano has it. Anyways, Damian Priest, thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
My pleasure, brother. Thanks for calling me.
Hey, first of all, man, I miss you guys down there. Can't wait for the pandemic to get over with.
Yeah, when we're on the other side of it, we look forward to seeing you, man. We love having you here.
Hey, by the way, the beard, man. I noticed the beard. That's a thick beard for you.
It took me about 6 months to grow, but yeah.
Hey, so with the storyline with Leon Ruff, it's really cool. Every time there's a big upset in wrestling, it's always compared to my thing with the 1, 2, 3 Kid Razor Ramon thing. But this is the one that's the closest to it. And,
big time.
Yeah, and the thing is it's not just for him. This is really it's been good for you too. The whole thing is kind of he's 1, 2, 3 Kid, and you're the bad guy Razor Ramon in the situation, and it's a really cool dynamic, and I'm glad that it didn't just end right away. It's been a cool storyline.
So I agree with you. When we first started this whole ordeal, I'm completely honest, and I even explained it to Leon, where I wasn't 100% invested in it. So to speak. I didn't know what to expect. To me, of course, everybody has a better idea. Everybody's the best booker ever, right?
Yeah.
So in my head, I had other ideas. Wasn't sure. I didn't know him, so to me, it was what are we doing? And then we did it. Okay, we got it done. And then I got to meet him and be around him a little bit more and actually have a conversation with the kid. And then as we progressed, man, and the way that this is what's happened, I couldn't have imagined a cooler storyline that was about me and somebody else, but actually elevated and helped somebody else deservingly. Super cool. And I really like Leon Ruff. He's actually just as lovable and humble, respectful that you see. The person you see on TV, that is really who he is. So I'm really happy that he's getting this spotlight. And I don't know what his career is going to be. I don't know what is going to develop from this, but I look forward to watching it and following the ride like anybody else, because he kind of he hit my heart too, just like most of the audience. You know what I mean? Like I actually felt fond of the person because he's so like he loves this business like we do, and he's a little younger and less experienced, but so he's like that raw love that you wish to find in something like this and something that we cherish like this business. And I'm so happy for him, and I'm glad that he got this opportunity. You know, granted, he had to take his licks because he's in the ring with someone like me and Johnny. He's gonna get it, you know. And it is what it is. But it was something that, although it didn't start off as something that I was super enthused about, I'm glad it happened, and I learned my lesson. In hey, not everything's gonna be the way you think, but it's probably gonna be pretty good if you just trust. And that's exactly what just happened with me.
Oh yeah, because like you were saying, it elevated him, but it also was a tool to show you in a different light.
Absolutely.
Like, you remember, like I texted you a couple weeks ago. I'm like, hey man, that segment, like it was just that backstage segment. That was great for you, man. Like, cause you've been in plenty of matches on TV. People know you're excellent in the ring. But they don't. But yeah, what? Come on, stop it. But you know, but your mic time and your promo time has been kind of limited. And they're good promos, but this showed even like a more, you know, a real character, like more dimensions to you, you know, and a really likable side to you, man. Really likable side.
I try. You know? It was definitely something that I've been enjoying a lot, especially lately. The aspect of just showing who I am and just be you, have a good time, you know. But don't pretend just for the sake of people wanting, you know, you wanting to like people to like you or something like that. Yeah. So I've been enjoying just being me and having a good time, and also, you know, being able to work with other people, and whether it's elevate myself or elevate others. I've been enjoying this little run that we've been having lately. And yeah, when you text me that, I thought it was extremely cool because obviously I usually get messages for matches, but never like a backstage segment or a promo. No one. You guys care, you know, people are like in your position, but most people don't. So whenever I do receive the messages, I appreciate them a lot more than just the matches. Because, you know, a match is, to me, it's, you might like it, then that person next to you might not. But at the end of the day, it's as long as you told the story, who cares, you know, to a certain degree. Promos are way harder. You know, I think because now you're literally, you have only one option to identify and connect with the fan. So whenever I hear from somebody saying, hey, that was a great segment for you, that is huge for me. So when you messaged me that, I remember like, oh, man, I felt that one. Like, oh, because I always wonder. I don't know with those things. A match, you know, you walk through the curtain, you know, you got your peers and whatnot telling you that was good. Hey, maybe, you know, this spot was great, but maybe you should have done this a little differently or something. But talking, no one ever says anything, ever.
Yeah,
so really? That's cool. When you messaged me, that meant a whole lot. I really appreciate that.
Huh. I'll be darned. Well, hey, man, I don't mean to like discount Gargano's contribution to the storyline, because he's great in everything he does. And you guys have excellent chemistry. And like each time you guys out in the ring, it seems like you figured it out more how to work with each other.
Yeah. Look, it's been said before, right? Johnny Gargano is an incredible technician. He's a wizard inside the ring. And you can hear it all you want. But then when you work with the guy, man, that guy's good.
Yeah.
Johnny is one of the best that I've ever been in the ring with. And so easy to work with. So, I mean, every positive word you could think of, I really don't have many negatives. Or I don't think I have any negatives.
So, like, He went from being the ultimate white meat babyface to the biggest shit heel you ever want to see. It's amazing to see the transformation with that, man.
Yeah, and I think it was easy. He's so talented. It was so easy for him. He was okay with it. And I know this is not going to help him, but he is an extremely likable person. Like, he's actually a good guy. And I know he's going to hate that I said this, but he really is. And so for him to actually be that on camera, it shows his talent, and he's made my life easier. So if I've looked good in anything that we've done lately, it's probably because he was involved in. He's that.
Hey, so I'm assuming due to the finish of the match tonight that was the blow off between you and Gargano's storyline.
I mean, you know how it goes in this business. You know, like you could have a plan, but you never know when the outcome happens. Like if things can change. So, as far as I'm concerned, I think so, but I don't know.
Here's the thing.
So who knows?
Well, I mean, it seems like they were kind of aiming in the direction for you and Austin Theory. That's what it looked like.
It looked like, but I don't know. I mean, do we need it? Because Austin Theory helped him, and granted, I wanted to win the title back. I hate Johnny. I wanted him to lose, but they got it over. It's like, what am I going to come back and beg for another shot? I don't know. We'll see what happens next Wednesday.
I thought maybe you just didn't want to get beat unless you had all those guys come in the ring. Freaking prima donna.
I politic, brother. Politic.
Hey, man. Well, I'm not going to keep you. Like I told you, it was going to be a 10-minute segment, and I'm sticking to my word. But
dude, I always have time for you, brother.
Well, I appreciate it, man, and I miss you guys so much. And anyways, thanks, bro.
Thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate it. You're the man.
All right, man. Have a good night. Drive safe.
You too. Good night, everybody.
So after that war of the North American title, Gargano retains the gold, and then we head on to the men's War Games match. Undisputed Era: Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle. Let's do that again.
Let's say we're keeping that one.
Keeping that
one for you to say.
Okay. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong against Pat McAfee's team of Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Pete Dunne, McAfee, and the two of them, 4-on-4. Yeah. Pete Dunne is in the best shape I've ever seen him.
Amazing,
yeah.
Right?
Hey, so are you guys old enough to remember the Road Warrior movie?
The movie?
Yeah, the Road Warrior.
Oh, like Mad Max, the Road Warrior. Okay, yeah. I'm picturing like Hawk and Animal starring in a movie.
No.
Okay.
No, the movie's Road Warrior. Are you familiar
with
Mad
Max? Yes.
Do you remember the little boy? They called him in the movie. He was called Feral Boy.
Mm-hmm.
He was the little kid that went in and out of the tunnels and had the boomerang.
Yes.
That's who Pete Dunne reminds me of, a grown-up feral boy. If you guys go back and watch Road Warrior, you'll understand what I mean. Otherwise, you're going, what the fuck's he talking about?
I see it.
Yeah, so, Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly together. I want to see those two in some kind of singles feud, actually.
You can't go wrong there. Both of them crazy strikers and great technical wrestlers as well.
Honestly, to me, and this is no knock on anyone else, but Kyle O'Reilly is the best. Maybe, honestly, there's no one better in the ring right now in NXT than Kyle O'Reilly. I'm saying it. And there's amazing talent in NXT. I don't know if you guys agree with me. You don't have to, but that is my opinion. That kid is fucking amazing out there.
He is super entertaining and can do it all. He might not get to showcase his mic skills that often, but
he has a few.
Very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
He has a few, and if they give him the ball, I guarantee you he's gonna carry that fucker for yards and probably even score touchdowns. I want to see Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly in a singles feud. I want to see them in a series of matches because, like the Kyle O'Reilly Finn Balor match makes me want to see more of that kind of shit. And I think those two would be great. Anyway, as far as the match goes, it had a lot of great moments. I was really impressed with Pat McAfee. Obviously the moonsault through the table, but the one part where it was him and I think was it him and Cole were on the top rope and Cole pushed him and he went flying. backwards up the top rope and went through the table. Took like a back bump through a table, like a Dusty plunge. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you go back and watch that. McAfee barely hit that. Like when he came down, his shoulders and back of his neck were about all of his body that got that table. Like if he would have been like 6 inches shorter, it could have broke his neck. That was crazy. So, and also, just some of the moments. Do you remember when they had all four of like the Undisputed Era had all four of their opponents like in between the cage and the ropes, and they were just running back and forth and just freaking knocking the shit out of them over and over again?
Oh yeah, Roddy, when
Yeah.
Roddy came in, he was just nailing everybody.
He's out of his mind. Holy shit, man. When I can't remember who he picked up and threw up in the air for that, like, was it a lung buster or something he did?
Oh, he calls it the end of heartache, where he picks you
Whatever.
up in a suplex and he just flings you and then lands you on his knees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was insane, man. And like, he never ceases to amaze me because he's not a big guy, and I don't know anyone that he can't backbreaker. I don't know anyone he can't give a backbreaker to, or like just to weight those people up like that, man. Like he's strong as fuck for his size, just explosive, and he's wound tighter in a drum too. Like
In
Anyways.
PWG, Excalibur would refer to it as the Freaky Roderick strength.
All right, well, that's it for our first show back. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. And I know it was a little rough around the edges here and there, so bear with us. And we got some really cool things coming up now that we're back. And so I'm going to let Emily tell you what they are before we go.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We have such exciting content coming your way on Patreon, on Twitch, exclusive, never before seen content. And so make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, make sure that you follow us on Anchor, and leave us a 5-star review. We would really appreciate it. And let's go have some fun together.
Emily's doing her best Nick Fury impression. All right, you guys, we'll see you next week.